Welcome to Say What? Sage Advice. It's the creator Dashawn is coming live and direct from the dojo, coming at you. I hope all is well in your world, because my world is getting better and better by the moment. So I want to build with you a little bit about this conversation I just had with a young friend. You know, she's dealing with a lot of stress, and she's basically a person who's always got a lot going on in her life, and I could see it affecting her adversely. She's always bugging out. She's always stressed. She's always talking a mile a minute and running away from issues as opposed to looking at them straight on and handling them. The good part about it is that she has at least a small grasp of what her issues are. It's running away from self and being afraid of failure. But you know, in terms of getting to what to do about it, I think that she's been having a lot of pressure. So I was trying to help her kind of relieve some of that and figure out different ways to attack it. First of all, let me address the issue of friends and family and the stresses that we all face in life. First thing that I think that we should realize, and that, you know, I've been realizing over the past few years, is that we don't owe anybody shit, y'all. We don't have to prove anything to anybody. We don't belong, for my personal spiritual philosophy, we don't belong to our families. We don't belong to our friends. We don't have to be a part of the society as it is built. We can build the world that we truly believe in, and the one that we want to see. And it comes from in here and here, and not so much out there and what other people are saying about how we're supposed to be living. The real truth comes from inside of yourself. It sounds like mumbo jumbo, I imagine, to people who aren't really familiar with this line of thinking and this way of approaching life, but trust me, I've got plenty of things to be stressed about. And, you know, like anybody else, I've got issues and, you know, shortcomings and fears and flaws like all of us. What I am doing differently in my life these days, though, is recognizing those things, not allowing those things to stop me from moving forward, and not labeling and judging myself so harshly. Just understanding that all we have is this moment, and in this moment is where we are best able to recognize what path we're supposed to be taking to get to happiness. That's all I want. At the end of the day, my life ambition is presence, because from presence comes my happiness. And so if I operate in that realm, it's easier to see what path I'm supposed to be taking in this moment. So that's what I was trying to share with her. And the biggest issue that she has is that she has no clue what she wants, because she doesn't know who she is. And, you know, really, in order to get to who we are, there needs to be silence. There needs to be a space created that we make for ourselves, where we can sit quietly in a room for 5 minutes, 15 minutes, an hour, however long you want to do it, and get inside of ourselves. It's important that we learn to shut down the mind, because the mind is a fascinating and beautiful tool, but a terrible master. And most of us live with our minds running on incessantly and never stopping the flow of the thoughts that come through our heads. I like to equate it with a river. A river is rushing past us, and all of our thoughts are rushing past us all the time. And if we always try to jump in and grab onto every thought, thinking that all these thoughts are important, we'll drown. But if you sit on the side of the bank, watch the things that are important, and pluck out the things that you need for that moment to help you deal with whatever's in front of you, we have a better chance of surviving this game. You know what I'm saying? So one of the things I like to do is a breathing meditation, and it's really simple. I focus all of my attention on the 1-inch space behind my navel, and I breathe in like babies do, blowing my stomach all the way out to ensure that all the air hits the bottom of my lungs. And I'm breathing in through my nose, and let it out through my nose, and try to make my navel touch my spine. The mechanics of that takes you off of, yeah, it's 6 o'clock, it's 4 o'clock over here, sorry y'all. The importance of that is it takes your mind off of all the other crap that's running around in your head, and it focuses you on this one place, breathing. Life is breath, breath is life, and that's where we find our center, that's where we find our presence. And in that presence is where you find the joy that melts away stress. It completely gets rid of it. So it seems like a small thing to do, but the more often you can do this in your lifetime, the easier it is for you to get centered in any situation. When you come across these other stressors, you realize that, first of all, the only thing that I have to do in this moment is be present and figure out what the best course of action is in this moment to make this thing that I'm going through enjoyable. Even to the point of depression. I suffered from depression growing up, and the way that I was able to conquer it wasn't through psychologists and psychotherapy and stuff like that. It was through a realization that I'm a creator of everything that's in front of me, and everything that's ever happened to me is due to my level of understanding of that situation in that moment. So if I'm present, I have an opportunity to understand what's going to make me happy in that situation, since that's what my main motivation is. And I do things in that moment to make sure that not only I am happy, but the people around me are happy to some degree. I want to point out though, like I did for this friend, we don't owe anything to these people who are friends. We don't owe anything to people outside of ourselves. You want to walk with the intention of peace for yourself and for all that are around you, but their peace is up to them. Their happiness is up to them, and it's not your job to make people happy. So, I hope this is helpful to people who are dealing with the kind of stresses that, single moms deal with on a regular basis. Men who are out here trying to be good to their families and to win bread in this so-called economic crisis need to wake up and realize that the only crises that we have in our lives are the ones we create for ourselves, because it's really all a beautiful ride depending on how you look at it, and how you look at it is always up to you. Hope that's helpful. God bless. Creator Dashawn is signing off. Be well and wealthy. I see.